Drinking out with the cocoa at the bar. Sunset on my horizon. Give her respects like the Maya. Sway to the music. I see a beautiful avatar. I was saying in my thoughts. A perfect time, I feel it. I reach for your head, come with me, my lady. Let loose, get to the rhythm and shake it, baby. You look amazing and wonderful life, baby. Yeah. Feel the groove, let loose and feel the tune. Feel the groove, let loose and feel the tune. Days we meet, baby. I wanna see you move tonight. Take this chase, baby. Embrace the moment in the light. Let that spirit move. The music through you. Let go of any worries that might be stressing you. Whatever you're going through is nothing that you can't handle. This channel and feel the vibrations in the tunes. Move your body. Absolutely. Dance the night away. I'm dancing the night away for some reason. I shout it, they feel the beat like a tidal wave. I don't care what you people think. I'm having fun with this good dance. You can call it a day. 2 souls frolicking place. Yeah, one of the best nights of my life. I dance in the Caribbean. I might just find my wife supply with the good vibes. I'm sure with the low tides. It's paradise, can't deny. Just makes you miss all night.
Hey, Upgrade Man Fabian is back. This is going to be a fantastic build, something that I've been really looking forward to. We have Martin Kenny here. He's the fantastic syncretist, and he also has his cosmic egg theory, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So welcome, Martin.
Hi, Fabian. Thank you for having me on.
No worries. Fantastic. So that I can see behind us, we have got a fantastic piece of cosmology happening there, and it's very astrological as well. And it's something that I resonate with almost instantly. So, Martin, do you want to begin to explain to us what you've got behind you, sir?
This is something I've been working on recently. It's basically a cosmic clock or cosmic calendar, if you like. You know, when I began this journey of seeking truth, there were a few questions that I asked myself. And one of those questions was, you know, where are we, right? If the Earth isn't a violently spinning ball, where exactly are we? So I wanted to know as much as I can about the Earth that we live on. I wanted to know, you know, where did we come from? You know, the history, if at all, can we find the answers to our true history, our true origins? I wanted to know where we are right now in terms of consciousness. So consciously, what is going on? Why is it we've got this amnesia? Why is it that we don't know who we are or where we are? But most importantly, I wanted to know where we are going, right? All of that is pointless. Knowing all that stuff is absolutely pointless if you don't know where you're going. The whole point of finding out who you are and where you are is to know where you're going, where you're meant to be going. So that was like the big journey, I think, for me, the biggest one that I had to embark on, finding out the where. So this is what this is. I think many ancient cultures had similar thought frames. You know, you've got the Mayans and the Aztecs. We had the Mayan calendar, which is actually the Aztec calendar. So they had a calendar, a cosmic calendar, to tell them about cosmic time, you know, big lengths of time, astrologically, you know, over thousands of years. You've got the Dendera stone from Egypt, which was another cosmic calendar. You've got the Indian Dharma wheels. So you've got these different wheels of time that the ancients depicted, trying to tell us the where we are and where we're going. So this is what I've tried to do. I've tried to decode it and reproduce a modern version of a cosmic calendar telling us possibly where we are and where we're going.
Yeah, fantastic. Because we need that. I mean, the ancients needed it, so because we need to be able to determine whereabouts we are. You know, because we have different cycles in time, and then, like I say, consciousness rises and falls. You know, we've got the Kali Yuga and so on and so forth. Iron Age, Bronze Age. You know, and this is where it is. It's like, so obviously now we're in the age of Aquarius, and we need to know exactly what is happening in that particular age in order for us to, you know, merge with it and actually liberate ourselves in it within a particular period of time. You know.
Beautiful. Someone the other day asked me, well, once you know you're in Aquarius, what's the point? Once you know what age you're in, so what? What does that change? Well, it's the same thing with seasons, right? If you don't know you're in winter, what's going to happen? You're going to wear the wrong clothes. You'll go outside wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and you're going to freeze to death.
Yeah.
You're going to struggle. It's going to be difficult. Your journey outside is going to be painful because you didn't know the weather forecast, right?
Yeah.
So this is all that it is. Once you know what Aquarius is, what age you're in, once you know what Yuga age you're in, you're able to dress for the season. You're able to act accordingly. You're able to make decisions accordingly. You're able to understand the reality, the world you're in a bit better. You're now able to see why we have things like Trump happening, why we have things like this conscious awakening happening now, why we have things like chemtrails and all these things. You start to understand and see why all those things are happening, because the season is changing. And once you know what the season is changing to, you're able to understand why and how to respond and how to react to that seasonal change.
Yeah, brilliant. So it's also, even in our day-to-day lives as well, when we look at the seasons, you know, we have the equinox and the solstices. I mean, it's like, for example, when we go into a summer solstice, that should be the peak of life. Yeah. You know, so which it is. And we should be able to venerate that as it is. But because we don't, I feel that we suffer in many ways because we're not in sync with nature like the way that we should be.
Absolutely. And a lot of people, particularly in the religious circles, will say, oh, this astrology stuff is evil, it's satanic, it's blah, blah, blah. But I'll use the Bible as a reference because I was once a Christian, a dogmatic Christian. You know, the Bible says, you know, God created the stars for what? To tell us the signs of the seasons. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So the Bible is telling you, right, that you need to be able to understand astrology, learn the Mazzaroth, right? Learn to read the seasons, the stars, the zodiac, the Mazzaroth. Yeah. It's in the Bible, right? All the holy books.
Yeah.
So these things are not, they're not evil, demonic, crazy things. These are natural cycles. There's nothing demonic about stars.
Nothing demonic
about stars. Nothing evil about the stars.
That's it, yeah. Right? I think if anything, exactly, if anything, I think it's more of a case of watch out for your astrologers, not your astrology. You know?
Oh, beautiful, Fabian. Beautifully put. I love that. Watch out for your astrologers, but not the astrology. Absolutely. Absolutely. Teach yourself about astrology. And astrology, you know, this is another misconception. People think that astrology is always about learning how to physically look at the stars and know where the constellations are. No, that is not astrology. Astrology is an esoteric process.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? It's about knowing the seasonal changes and reading the stars from within.
This is it.
So I know we're in the age of Aquarius, not because I can see the Aquarian constellations in the sky. I've taught myself to see it, but I don't need to see it to confirm it. I know it because I understand what Aquarian energy is, and I'm able to recognize it in the reality that I live in.
That's it. Yeah. Perfect, man. Perfect. You know, and then that's how we become to know. This is what I mean.
That's how you come to know.
This is it. And once we're dealing with inner knowing instead of external belief, right? And everything just becomes a whole lot easier.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Brilliantly put.
I'll touch on the concept that at the moment, there's the concept coming out with the Christ, and that is going to be massive because Christ consciousness, I've been watching it for a long time myself, you know, and it's something that I'm dealing with it. And if people say, how do you know about something? You know, because what you do is you apply yourself to it. So if you know about something from however period of time ago, whatever it may be, once you start applying once you start applying that to your life, it becomes an action. If that's what your intention if you put your intention into it, yeah. So then you can then start to apply things into your life through that inner knowing. Sometimes I find we'll speak about the subconscious as well. I think the subconscious is connected to the Holy Spirit, to the right brain, etc. So I think some of this comes from our subconscious. So it's like with a Christ consciousness, for example, you will start to do things that will align with that consciousness, that Christ consciousness, in order for you to raise up and attain that level of consciousness, because you are knowing about it.
Absolutely. Beautifully put. Beautifully put. Absolutely. It's about, that's a great point that you mentioned actually earlier on when you said that it's just a knowing, you just know. And you're right. A lot of people ask me the questions like, how do you know this stuff? How, you know, can you prove it? How do you know? Like, how do you know? You could just be making it up.
Yeah.
And until you know what you know, no one else can know it because you know it. It's the same as trying to say to someone, how do you know you love that person? Like, how do you know? Explain how you know you love that person.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. It's just a feeling. It's just a knowing. I just know I love this person.
Yeah.
I just know it. I can't put it in words. I can't contextualize it. I can't physically, you know, express it, but I just know it.
Yeah.
I just know it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's the same thing. Once you find your truth, right? Once I find my truth, I just know it. It feels right. And it's not to say that it's always going to be 100% correct, right? Obviously not, because we were talking earlier on before we got on air, that truth is not a destination.
No.
It is a process. You know, it's a journey. This awakening thing is a journey. So it's not about saying, oh, I found out the earth is flat. That's it. I know the truth now. I'm done.
Yeah.
That's the end of the journey. I'm finished. No. That's the beginning. You're only starting it. And then you uncover another layer of the onion and you find out a new truth. And you're like, wow, I thought flat earth was big. I found veganism, right? And then you peel that onion and you go, oh my goodness, there's more behind this. There's urine therapy, right?
Yeah.
And you go, oh my goodness, this is crazy. And then you peel another layer of the onion. Then you're like, oh, there's more beyond the dome. Extraterrestrial lands. There's extraterrestrial beings. There's, you know, so it's all these layers of the onion. And it's just about how many layers are you willing to peel?
This
is all it is.
thing.
How far are you ready to go?
That's it. How far are you willing to go? And that's where we get the concept of the veils. And there are many veils. And, you know, like we were just saying there, you get to one part, I get to one area and then think, oh, God, oh, you think you've found it. And all of a sudden you realize, no, I was just caught up in another veil of illusions. And then you go on and on and on and on and on. And then, and that's how it is. So that's where we get this scenario. People go, oh, well, I feel as though this person might have. It's because there are so many layers and levels and layers to the onion, you know?
Absolutely.
It's about not getting caught up and wrapped up in each layer of each onion. You know, it's about, like we're saying now, through that internal knowing comes an essence of flowing. We end up flowing. And that's a divine feminine aspect, is to just kind of flow, you know, instead of getting tied up in linear time, which is where we're kind of heading to now.
Absolutely. You're very right in saying that, you know. The best way to express that is to say that we are all an expression of the Creator. We're all God, right? In quality, but not quantity.
Exactly.
When I call myself God, I'm not saying that I'm the God. I'm saying I'm an expression of God,
totally.
Right? I'm a drop in the ocean of consciousness.
Yeah.
Right? And the whole point, the whole reason of all of this, the whole reason I'm here and you're here and we're having this conversation is because we are God playing hide and seek with ourselves.
Yeah.
We've chosen to forget everything, to forget truths, right?
Yeah. And
we've chosen to find them at a certain stage. And for me and you, this is the stage we've chosen to find these truths.
Exactly.
Hence we're awakening.
Exactly.
So it's a game of hide and seek, but it's a game of hide and seek against yourself.
That's it.
No one is hiding truth from you.
No one is hiding it. It's all a game of learning, you know. People look at it and they go, why is it like this? Some people might say, why would we step out of the garden? Why would you step out of the Garden of Eden? You know, why would you do that? Because we want to learn. So,
absolutely.
You know, by stepping into a dualistic, you know, paradox, you know, environment, that helps us to learn the difference between right and wrong, the difference between good and bad, you know. So
Brilliant.
it's a learning curve.
A good example of that, I've had that question before, and I gave another analogy. Someone said to me, oh, you know, it doesn't make sense. You know, if we were in the Garden of Eden, why would we have left? Why would we have done that? It just makes no sense. If we are God, why would we want to forget? And I said to them, do you wake up every morning and open your door, your front door, and say to yourself, I'm not going to step out there just in case something bad happens. It's nice and safe in here. I'm warm. I'm safe in my house. You know, I could just stay here forever. You wouldn't. Because you'd be bored out of your mind. You wouldn't learn anything about yourself, about the world.
Nothing.
Right? You just rot in there.
Yeah.
So the same reason you step out your door every morning and do stuff, whatever it is you're doing, that doing is because you want to learn and experience something, even without thinking about it. You're experiencing a reality.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same way, it's exactly the same reason why God or the creator decided to create this game where it forgets who it is, or what it is, where it is, for it to go on that journey of trying to remember.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah, remembering. You know, we want to remember and realign ourselves. You know, and that's where you were just saying about the doing. I think we come up with a little bit of a sync there straight away because it's the action. You know, and then through the action, that's a divine masculine quality. Is the action. You're saying then get out, don't sit inside the house, get out and start doing it. And then when we get out and start doing it, that gives us action. And then through action, we find wisdom. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. You have to alchemicalize the physical, the fight cycle, and the spiral, the spiritual. The physical and the spiritual must be linked. Like you said, the feminine and the masculine. Yeah. Right? If you're just internal and you're all spiritual and you're sitting in your house and you're just being all spiritual and you're doing nothing, then you've only got one element. Yeah. Right? You don't have the whole thing, the whole yin and yang. Yeah. You need to have both. So you need to be looking within and looking for truth, but physically doing stuff. You're in therapy, you know, exploring, you know, buy cameras, take experiments, you know, do chat shows, share information, do experiments, you know, go out and talk to people and learn, exercise, whatever it is you need to do, combine the physical and the mental. Yeah. Very important.
It's very, very important. You know, I've got some symbols here. We can't share them, but it doesn't matter. I do a lot of sharing anyway. But even a lot of the old West African, North African, you know, real old tribal symbology shows is you've got like an arrow coming down and an arrow coming down and an arrow coming up, and it's showing you the merging of that metaphysical merging between the physical and the spiritual coming together and intertwining. You know,
absolutely. Beautiful.
That's it. You know,
beautiful. And this is the problem. You know, again, this is brilliant because this is now tying back to the question you asked me.
Yeah, I know.
About the seasons.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. All right, that's
right. Once you understand astrology, you know, the age of Pisces that we were in, that we're just coming out of. Yeah. Right. What is Pisces? Pisces is the two fish.
The fish.
Pisces is division. Right. Pisces is black versus white. Yeah. Right? Up versus down, in versus out. It's dualistic. Pisces is very dualistic. Yeah. Right? So that's the negative aspects of Pisces. Yeah. So you are seeing, when I meet people, flat earthers, I can see if you're tapping into if you're still in the Piscean energy, or if you've now shifted into the Aquarian energy. Yeah. Aquarian is air. Yeah. Air is mixing, the mixing of the waters. Yeah. Right? It's mixing of waters, but it's an air sign. It's coming together, combining the two. Yeah. So you meet a flat earther and they'll say, oh, I don't care about any of this spiritual stuff. You know, I'm just interested in the facts, the science, right? I want to take measurements and I just want to know, you know, the science of flat earth. All this other stuff is just theory. That's what they'll say. It's just the spiritual stuff. It's just theory. It's just theory. That tells me you are very Piscean. You're still in the Pisces age. Yeah. Consciously. Yeah. You're still in that dualistic nature of I'm in the black square or I'm in the white square. Yeah. Right. When you become Aquarian, you meet the flat earthers who are saying, do you know what? I'm gonna look at everything, man. You know, I'm gonna look at everything, all the religions. I'm gonna look at the science of flat earth. I'm gonna look at the spiritual stuff. I'm going to look at the holistic stuff. I'm going to look at food. I'm going to look at everything to do with anything, right? Because that's the mixing, the coming together. That is a very Aquarian age. That means you are now dressing up for that season.
Yeah.
Or you're dressed for the season.
Yeah.
And you're taking action according to the season.
Action. Exactly.
Right? And because you're taking action according to the season, you are sowing your seeds. Right? And once you sow your seeds, which is asking the questions into the universe the right way, right? You will bear fruit, and the fruit is the answers.
That's right.
Right? So people say, why you? How did you figure this out? How do you know this? It's because I've tapped into the right energy of this time, because I understood the seasons, maybe even without knowing, subconsciously.
Yeah.
I asked the right questions, so did you. So you got the right answers that you needed at the time.
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. And then the other spin to that is coming out of that dualism is to go for what I call an organic singularity. You know, it's because if you look at it, you've got, it's like when you look at some of the cosmology, some of the Vedic cosmology, we've got the 7 planes above and 7 planes below, etc. And then there's the plane in the center, the middle, you know, which is the heart, which is what I speak of a lot. Is because I experience it, because I align with those energies in order to make that scenario kind of manifest. And it's an ever-growing scenario. And I see that, I just see that the earth, because I said the earth's got a kundalini as well. And I see that the earth is rising up, so that we rise up in towards the heart. Yeah. And this is where we come to a state of knowing, instead of being in that dualistic state of, oh, is he right? Am I right? Am I right? He's black, he's white, he's, you know. So we move up into the heart, and then that's where we find that organic singularity, you know. And that's where we, you know, we're kind of heading there now. So that, going back to what we were saying earlier, so that's us learning, you know, the God consciousness within, you know, we're all fragments of the one, and obviously we're all to experience and then learn and remember who we are. So by remembering and realigning and rejoining, we go back into the heart in order to do that, you know?
Brilliant. Oh, beautiful, brother. Absolutely. Absolutely. We are all one. We truly are all one, but we're all one spiritually.
Spiritually.
Okay. Not physically, not inorganically, which is what we're seeing in some circles of our reality, trying to inorganically merge into singularity, which is not the organic way, like you said. So that's the way you phrased it is really good. You know, we are organically all one. We all come from the same source. So we're at different seasons under the same sun.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So we must embrace our differences. Definitely. We must enjoy the differences. Yeah. Because we created these differences in order to, if there wasn't difference, life would be boring, right? It would be just absolutely pointless.
Pointless. There'd be no point.
There'll be no point. But beyond that, we must see past those differences.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. On a deeper level. We must appreciate them, but we must not take them literally. We must not take them as factual. Yeah. They are not factual truths. Our differences are not factual. They are the matrix, the Maya, the illusion, the game.
Yes, brother. Yes, brother. This is it. You know, and that's exactly.
People still stuck in their pigment.
Yeah.
You hear people saying, "Oh, we black people, we're the true chosen people. Yeah, oh, we this tribe, we're the true chosen people. Yeah. Oh, my race, my religion, my book, my country, we're the true." Oh my God, you are deep in the Maya. You are deep in the illusion, deep in the Maya.
Yeah.
Right? You're still playing games. You're on the Monopoly board.
Yeah.
You need to step away from the board and see the picture from above and say, I'm none of those things. I am not black. I'm not white. God, I'm not even human. Yeah. That is not me. This is a character I'm playing. I am acting out this role.
This isn't even real. It's not even real. If you look at a donut in the middle, there's a donut in the middle. If you look down, it's just a black hole.
Absolutely.
Know, we know that the Maya is not real. It's a physical illusion, you know. And that's where, again, where people fall down. And because we syncretize, we deal with syncretism, we're able to go and look at, you know, Vedic text, Bhagavad Gita, etc., predating organized religion, predating it. And then it's telling us in there that the material is a persistent illusion. And we are to look past our initial 5 senses in order to find the truth and to find what we call Krishna, which is Christ, which is who you are, right? In order to find the truth, you got to look past these five senses of taste, smell, touch. In order to find that, one of those five senses is your eyes. So if you're looking at an external book, and if you buy into any one external book, you will fall into an illusion. Yeah, you know,
Absolutely.
You will be deceived.
Absolutely. And this is something I always say to people who are stuck in their books, religious or scientific.
Yeah, or scientific.
You know, will you agree that words are spells? And some will say, oh, no, they're not. No, they're not. And I'll say, well, spell your name. Spell it. Right?
Yeah.
Listen to the words. Listen to what I'm saying. Spell your words.
Yeah.
Spell this sentence. Spell what's in your book.
Yeah.
It's all spells, right?
Spells.
When you open your Bible or whatever book and you go, oh, my book says this, so it's the truth.
Yeah.
You are just reciting spells. You're casting spells.
Yeah.
Because they're spelling words.
Spelling words, man. You're casting spells. You know, this is where, and then again, when you buy into these concepts and these beliefs, you have what I call this scarcity-based mindset versus an abundance-based mindset. So any form of magic would be, with a scarcity-based mindset, you would be like, no, that's too much. It's too, you know, magic would be too unlimited. You know, for somebody in a scarcity-based mindset, they like everything to be rigid, and they like to know that there's only a small amount of this and that, and therefore we stick to this and that. We don't step out of the box, because by not stepping out of the box, we're not harming ourselves, because we're in a permanent state of fear. So it's like, you know, brilliant. You got to step out of that. Yeah,
brilliant. And it's fantastic how you phrase that as well. You know, the control system, the Pisces age, the age of control. You can see how we've been manipulated into this, because we've been taught that imagination is bad, right? Do not have an imagination. Do not think. Do not be a deep thinker. Be a deep reader. Be educated.
That's right.
Yeah. So if you want to be smart and wise, read.
Read. That's it.
Wait, it's the opposite. The opposite is, if you want to be smart and wise, don't read. Go out and think.
Go out and
Just
think. Yeah.
You do not need a book to give you wisdom.
You don't need a book to give you. You can go out and think, and there's also an internal book of life encoded inside your DNA, inside you. All you got to do is just go within. That's all you got to do.
All the truth is inside of us. It's not written anywhere. You don't need it to read from anywhere. You don't need to be given it by anyone.
No.
You are born with it, because, again, you are a spiritual being having a physical existence. You are God. So the day you choose to remember, the day you choose, free choice, to say, do you know what? I now want to know this.
Yeah.
You will remember it, because you are God. Everything is within you.
Yeah.
It's just as far as how ready are you and how far are you. But also the season.
Yeah. You see?
Right? So there are also limits to it. Yes, I'm God, but there are things that I can do. I can only do certain things within the season of time that I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay? So if we're in the age of Aquarius, right, I can't be doing things that are from the age of Virgo.
No,
I can't be doing winter things in summer.
No, that's it.
Right?
That's
It doesn't work. I can't grow summer crops in winter.
Yeah.
They're not going to grow. It doesn't work, because it goes against the natural laws of this reality.
Exactly. There are laws to this thing, you know?
Absolutely.
You know? Again,
Absolutely.
You know, and it's about stepping out again of that scarcity-based mindset in order to understand that there are laws to this thing. You know, once you realize that that is the case, you know, then you can start to regain your own inner sovereignty. You know, when you realize, even if I'm always going on at the moment about the law of cause and effect, because if you put your hand in the fire, it's going to burn, right? Yeah. And the universe doesn't. It's not personal like that. You know, it's not going to look at you and say, look, okay, you're one of my favorites, so you don't get burnt, you know? Everybody's going to get burnt. So as soon as we understand and we realize and we understand that these laws do exist, and then we can align with them, everything just becomes a whole lot easier for everybody.
Oh, man. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, Fabian. The sun shines on everyone the same.
Yeah.
Right? Good or bad.
Good or bad?
Because the murderer that lives next door, when we walk out the door together, if I'm a good person and the guy next door is evil, the sun will shine on us the same. The sun won't say, oh, no, I'm not going to shine on this guy because he's bad.
Yeah.
Right? It shines on both of us the exact same.
Does it the same way, you know?
Right? If we both decide to jump in front of a bus, right, we're going to get hit the same. The bus or the laws of nature, not God is not going to say, oh, no, I'm going to spare this one, he's good.
Yeah.
If I jump in front of a bus, it's going to do damage.
It's going to do damage. That is how it is. You can't get away from it, and it's just the way that it is. It's like you can look at Gnostic. So if I go and look at some Gnostic texts from totally different area to the Vedic scripture, if I go and look at these two areas, you know, both areas are going to tell me that they're going to end up telling me exactly the same sort of thing. There's an esoteric diet. Yeah. So if, say, for example, the Bhagavad Gita would tell me, look, you can eat in the mode of goodness, you can eat in the mode of passion, you can eat in the mode of ignorance. So if I choose to eat in the mode, I consume things in the mode of goodness, regardless to what any scripture is telling me. If I consume something in the mode of goodness, then the universe is going to, I will get rewarded for that by the laws of nature themselves, even if we don't say the word universe, just by the way that this realm works. I will be rewarded for consuming the life if I consume stuff that's in the mode of goodness, which is going to be conceived as life by the creator because he creates that. So if I consume that, then I'm going to feel for it. And this is where I talk about these upgrades, and I actually turn myself now the upgrade man, because I'm not convinced, because I already know because I practice it myself, but I'm exceptionally passionate about human beings being aware and being able to unlock this hidden potential that is encased within them that many don't know about, you know?
And that's brilliant, Fabian. There is an asterisk to that as well, and this is something that I always try to say to people that I have to remind myself as well, because I fall into this trap from time to time. When me and you have awoken to these things, our instinct is to want to rattle the cage and let everyone know, like, hey, come on.
Yeah, this is the thing.
It's obvious. It's there. Wake up. Look, guys, do this, and this will change. And then, but we must remember there is a time and place for everything. There is a season for everything.
Yeah, it's not
right. So even those of us who are awaking, a lot of us, we are ahead of our time.
We are.
We're ahead of the season, right? So one thing that I always say to people that shocks them, particularly vegans, is that veganism, eating meat itself, is not bad or evil.
It's not, and I agree, and I know where you're going to go with that.
Right?
Yeah.
It has its time.
It has its time, man.
It has its time. So there was a time when we're in the Iron Age, in the age of Pisces, the age we were in before. We needed meat because our physical DNA, our conscious DNA was at that resonance. We needed things like that. Yeah. We needed it. And we would have died.
Yeah, because we wouldn't have been able to sustain, we didn't have the consciousness in order to be able to do these sort of things, to read it in that sort of way, because the consciousness is too low. Brilliant, man.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
But now the energy shifted, the season has changed, right? It's now the opposite.
Yeah.
Right? Those who carry on eating meat, it will start killing you now.
It will.
Right? 200 years ago, it wouldn't have. Because that was the season for that.
Yeah.
Right? But the season's changed. So those one changing with the season, right? Your crops are not going to grow. You're going to die.
This is it.
Crop in your body. You're going to get sick. You're going to get cancers. You're going to get cholesterol. All these diseases that meat is all of a sudden creating.
This is it.
Because it's time for change.
It's time.
The season has changed.
Yeah. It is time for change.
It's time for change. So there's a time and a place and a season for everything. So you meet people who will say, oh, we all need to be breatharian. We don't even need to eat anything. Fruits are conscious. I agree. But this is not the time for it. This is not yet the season for it.
No.
If you do that, you can probably do it. But if you do it without knowing what you'll do, you will die.
This is it. You will die because we're not ready yet. You're not, we're not as light as that. We're still more dense. We're not as less dense enough to be at that,
Absolutely.
that state. But then we're going back to some of the root races when we just want to tie that in quickly with when we're talking about people getting tied up in concepts of dualism again with the race and the color and blah, 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 blah. But in actual fact, we know that really this is one race, and then the creator works in subtle ways. So we look and we think, well, this person has a different tradition and a different face, etc. But it's not that. It's just the creator works in subtle ways. You have to look past the initial illusion and look past the initial senses in order to see that that person is the same as what you are. So our race is one race, which is the Aryan race, and that's what the previous races before that. I just wanted to touch on this. Didn't look the way that we look now.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's something I'll be presenting on very, very soon. The whole different, the different races. And you're absolutely right. I don't know how to. I don't want to go too deep into it, but in a nutshell, in a nutshell, we've got 4 root races in our universe, right? And the 4 root races. In fact, no, we've got 5 current root races in our universe. The original root race are called the Polarians.
Yeah.
Okay, and these Polarians are the ones that are on Mount Meru, right at the center of our flat Earth.
Yeah, let's do it.
They are the Olympians on Mount Olympus.
Yeah, well true.
Right? These are the gods. These are the angels spoken about in the Bible.
Yeah.
These are the Das avatars spoken about in the Vedic texts. Okay? These Polarians are not completely physical beings. They are semi-ethereal. They are half physical, half not.
Yeah.
Right? We are all Polarians. That is what you might call a conscious being, a pure conscious being. This is the master root race, the master race. They are described as being sort of bluish indigo people.
Yeah.
They're kind of blue, translucent.
Yeah.
That's their color.
Yeah,
and you see it in many cultures. Many cultures paint themselves blue.
Yeah.
Many cultures wear blue in celebrations.
Shiva,
you see it in the Vedic text. There are always these blue beings in the background.
Yeah, Krishna, blue, yeah.
Krishna was blue. So you see it embedded in the fabric of our traditions and our cultures.
Yeah.
But that's where it comes from. Right. The first physical race that was created by the Polarians, remember the Polarians are the master race.
Yeah.
The Polarians got together and said, let's create a physical race of beings. The first race, the first beings to begin the race of life. Because it is a race. We're racing against ourselves. Right?
Very good.
The Polarians are at pole position. At the North Pole. They're in pole position. That's why they're the Polarians.
Yeah.
Right? The first race was the Hyperboreans.
Hyperboreans, that's it.
So the Hyperboreans were created first. This was the first race of beings, physical beings. Some Polarians incarnated into Hyperborean avatars.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're right. Because the Hyperborean itself is not a conscious being. It's an avatar. It's a body.
Yeah, it's a body, which is what I term human avatar. So yeah, it's avatar. I'm with you.
Right.
Fantastic.
So all races are just avatars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That are being driven by the conscious being inside, the Polarian, that is driving the avatar.
Yeah, the higher self.
The higher self. So these Hyperboreans were created, and after a cycle, which I'll go into when I present this,
fantastic.
After a cycle, what's known as an epoch, after a round, after they went around the phi cycle, the physical, right?
Yeah.
There was a reset, a pole shift.
Yeah.
Right? So these Hyperboreans were the first Garden of Eden. They were the first physical realm of Earth on Earth. They were the first race of physical beings around Mount Meru, around the Tree of Life.
Yeah.
When their time ended, they were pushed outwards, away from the center, physically. Right? And a new realm was seeded. Yeah. Like a drop of water. When you drop water in a bucket, there's one ripple,
the ripple effect.
Then creates another ripple, creates another ripple. Same thing with life.
Yeah.
So the next ring was created. This was now the second root race, the second round, the second Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
And these are the Lemurians. Yeah. Right? The Lemurian race. were created. And some Polarians incarnated into Lemurian bodies, avatars, to experience a Lemurian existence in a Lemurian realm. Okay? And by the way, these realms were also seeded with their own solar systems to guide them, to tell them when it's, what season it is and when it is, their own sun and moon. So the Hyperboreans, their sun and moon was Saturn and Jupiter. That is why Saturn is called Father Time, because that is when time began.
Chronos,
Chronos began the cycle of time in our universe, physical time. And Jupiter is known as Mother Rhea, area. Right? This was the first area where Jupiter is the moon. The second one, the second round, the Lemurians, their sun and moon was Venus and Mars. Right? When their cycle ended, they were pushed out of the Garden of Eden. Right? And a new realm was pushed out, seeded from the center. And this is the Atlantean root race, an Atlantean realm. This is us. We are all Atlanteans. All of us in this realm, what we call Earth right now, we are all Atlantean beings. All of us, regardless of what you look like. That is our root race. Okay? So once we did our cycle, we were then pushed out from the center about 6,000 years ago. Right? This is when the flood happened, the reset, blah, blah, blah. We were pushed out. Adam and Eve are pushed out from the center. And a new realm and new root race was created, which is the Aryans. So the Aryans are the current, right now, at the center, there is a Garden of Eden. That Garden of Eden is where the Aryan root race is, the newest avatar or body to be seeded in the universe by the Polarians.
Fantastic. Absolutely beautiful. Go ahead, brother.
Now, in this realm, Fabian, this is where it gets exciting. We've got four, if we're now going into the matrix, we've got four main root races, if you like. Four main root races. We've got the black race, we've got the white race, we've got the Oriental Asians, and we've got the Indo-Asians. Right? That's the four races in this realm. All the other races are kind of mixes of those four. I think it's fair to say that.
Yeah, that is fair to say that. Yeah, the derivatives of those four.
Now, if we go to the different realms, if we go to the realm on the outside, where Saturn and Jupiter are the sun, the Hyperborean realm, right? And we met those Hyperboreans who are still there today. I'm willing to bet would say, I see where black people get their looks from, or their traits, or their cultural influences from. Right? They get it from this root race. Right? So I'm willing to bet these Hyperboreans who live in that realm, the first root race to be created on Earth, look very similar to me and you. Right? I'm willing to bet if we went, and these are what's known sometimes as the Anunnaki. People talk about the Anunnaki. This is what is sometimes referenced as the Anunnaki beings.
Because they made man in his image. You know, Elohim made man in his image. But this is
right.
Where
that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
And that's where that whole concept of, we all come from black people, from Africans. That's where it comes from. So that's not quite true, but you can see where the truth's been manipulated there.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, if you went to the next realm, where Mars and Venus are, and you met the Lemurians, who are sometimes referred to as the reptilians. Right? You'd say, I see where Oriental Asian people get their looks from. You know, the eyes, you know, that look. Right? That's been seeded down from these Lemurian beings. That avatar, that body. Right? In this realm, the original Atlantean body is the Vedic Indians, the Indo-Asians. That is the original Atlantean prototype avatar.
Agreed.
That is why the Vedic scriptures are the most expansive. Have the
Profound.
most. That's why Indians are the most cultural people. They have the deepest culture, the deepest spiritual whatever
Yeah, yeah.
in India.
They do.
Because that is where the mecca of the original Atlantean root race is from. Okay? Now, if you went to the center and you met the Aryans, who were seeded about 6,000 years ago, the newest race of beings to join the race, the newest race, not beings, the newest race of avatar to join the race, you'd say, I see where white people get their looks from. Right? So these Aryans are what are sometimes referred to as fallen angels or the gods, right? Or the Nephilim.
Even, yeah.
Yeah, these are the names they've been given over time that have been put into scriptures and all kinds of things. So that's the Aryan beings. Fundamentally, I've talked about all these different beings in this realm, even though you, me, and everyone else in this realm right now, even though we all look different, we are all Atlantean beings.
Yes.
Geneticists will even tell you that human beings, we share genetic code that is 99.6% the same.
It's the same.
White, black, Indian, Chinese, we all share 99.6% DNA code.
Yeah.
There's only a 0.4 difference.
Crazy. But
And we're all fighting over 0.4.
Madness.
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 Madness. Yeah? You look different because your pigment is slightly different to mine.
Yeah.
Your eye color is slightly different to mine. Your hair is slightly different to mine. 0.4 difference.
It's nothing.
We are all Atlanteans. All of us. We are one race.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Right? But over time, certain things were left behind. Genetic code was mixed over time, which I'll explain in the video. There's a lot to talk about there that made all these differences and these variations. Why? Because we can.
Yeah.
Right? Because God wants, the Creator wants variation. If we're all the same, it would be boring.
It wouldn't be right.
Right? If you all looked the same, if you all sounded the same, if we're all identical twins, all, I don't know how many billion of people there are, how would all be robots?
It'd be boring.
Right? We'd be robots. There wouldn't be free choice. So that's why those differences have happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be explaining all this in a lot more depth, but I just thought I'd give you a flavor of all of it in a nutshell and basically explain it.
Brilliant.
But fundamentally, whether you're Hyperborean, Lemurian, Atlantean, Aryan, black, white, Chinese, Indian, whatever you are, all those things are avatars. They are the matrix. We are all Polarian. Every single thing that is conscious, being that is conscious in the universe, is a Polarian. Your consciousness is Polarian.
Yeah, which is it. This is it. That is what you are, and that Polarian is a higher, the higher form of consciousness. It's a higher being because they're not restricted to this lower 3D realm, if you want to call it that. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we have to sort of, and that's what we're doing subconsciously, and that's why I talk about the subconscious as being a massive. You know, the subconscious is just so big compared to the conscious mind, and the subconscious is that is what they always have to, which is another thing which relates to exactly everything we're saying here. The subconscious knows everything. It's it's Polarian. I'd say it was Polarian because of, so you cannot deceive the subconscious. So people go, oh well, there's these horrible people like the Rothschilds, etc. No, there is the Rothschilds. They're a demon. You're a demon. You've got the potential in you as well. But the subconscious cannot be fooled. So we still have to have Saturday, Moon Day, you know, Sun's Day. We still have to have Saturn's Day. We have to have all these days because otherwise the subconscious would recognize that something's not right here. You know.
Absolutely.
So the Polarian, like you said, yeah,
beautiful.
They cannot be. It has to be. We are sort of, you know, kings and queens, infinite sovereign beings. So we can't be deceived in that way. So even though people don't know a lot of this stuff, etc., subconsciously you're doing it, you're living it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Oh, brilliantly put, Fabian. I love how you explained why we have days and months and all these things, because if we didn't, our Polarian self would immediately wake up.
Yeah.
would go, oh, hey, yeah, this is not real.
Yeah.
And the game is up. The game's up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But our Polarian being still wants to play the game, right?
Yeah.
At some level. Some still want to play it deep in the matrix. Others are starting to say, actually, I'm quite bored now. I want to move on.
Yeah.
Right? Me and you, we've gone, do you know what? Yeah, I've played this game for quite a while now. I'm done. I want to move on.
Yeah.
I want to move on to the next stage, at least.
Exactly. At least. So it's fair to say when we go back to that ripple effect, fantastic. Again, as that ripple drops, which is just nature, it's in your eye. You can see it in your, consciousness. It falls. Consciousness emanates from that center point and it spreads out. But the further you move away from that hyperboloid, that center peak, you find that consciousness falls because you're moving further away from that center.
Yes. Brilliantly put. And that's exactly how it works. It's all starts from the center, from the ripple, from the middle. It goes outwards, but also within that, there are seasons and cycles of time.
Yeah.
Right? And it's also not to say that the beings who live on the outside, the Hyperboreans, in the realm of Saturn and Jupiter are evil or they're bad.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Right? Absolutely not. It just means that their state of consciousness maybe is not as high as if you're at the center, or will not be as high as when you're at the center.
Yeah.
Right? At any particular given time. Yeah. But also, because of the nature of duality, because the Hyperboreans have been around for a lot longer, right? They might not be as consciously aware as maybe the beings at the center, as us maybe.
Yeah.
But maybe they're wiser than us.
Yeah.
Because they've been around for a long time.
They've done it, haven't they? They've been, and they've done it. Been outwards.
They've seen it all.
Yeah.
Right? So when we're talking about we're now talking in terms of the physical, the illusion. So it's not about saying these beings are better than these beings. The Aryans at the center are better than the Hyperboreans. The Atlanteans are better than the Lemurians. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
There are dualistic goods and bads for all the different races and all the different root races and avatars and whatever. In order for our Polarian higher selves to learn from each realm, from each incarnation, from each dimension, from each lesson, as we progress on that cycle of life.
Perfect. Brilliant. And I noticed then behind you, when we go to the very center, we've got the yin and yang. I was looking at, obviously, when we look at the Dogon cosmology, and they've got Mama Amma. Yeah. And Mama Amma to them is masculine and feminine,
Absolutely. And when you talk about the yin and yang, and this is something else that I discovered recently, and I was explaining to a friend of mine the other day. When you look at the yin and yang, even in our universe, because he was asking me, he was saying to me, well, are you saying, and this is the danger of all of this, where it becomes a racial thing.
Yeah.
So are you saying if the center is more advanced than the outside, then the Aryans are superior beings to the Hyperboreans? Is that what you're saying?
Ego, isn't it? Yeah.
Right? The ego, the physical, which some people can't escape because they're still deep in the matrix.
Exactly.
So I, as a teacher, have a responsibility to make sure that the information I'm teaching is not abused and is not turned around and used for an agenda.
Yeah.
So what I would say to them is absolutely not, right? Both are just as equal as the other. Yeah. Why? The Aryans are the newest race, right? They're new. They're the ones who are fresh. They've got the new wave of consciousness, the new wave of being, right? But they are children. They're young. They're very young. They're irresponsible, right? The Hyperboreans on the outside, if you met an Hyperborean being, they are probably old-fashioned, still stuck in the old, right? Still backward, but they are very wise.
Yeah.
Very wise beings, right? They'll be very intelligent beings. Wisdom, because they've been around from the beginning. They are the original, since the beginning of time, beginning of Saturn, or the Chronos.
Yeah.
Right? Mercury at the center is the messenger. The Aryans are the messengers. They're here to give us a new way. The Hyperboreans are wisdom, time. right? They've had the test of time. So we need both. You need to be able to tap into Hyperborean energy and Aryan energy and Lemurian energy and Atlantean energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And then you're aligning your chakras now. You're now bringing all that wisdom and all that.
Yeah, you know, which is what you're doing, which is fantastic. And then we could go even further. I mean, there's some in the esoteric, and I was looking at some stuff recently, probably won't go into it too much, where people say that the order has been manipulated, etc., by certain kings, which we probably won't go into now. But the point I'm making is that those chakras and those planets, they're encased within us, you know. So it's very, very, very important. What you're saying here is critical.
Absolutely, really important, really important. And this now goes back to, I can tell just by talking to you, Fabian, that you are well ahead. You are deep into the Aquarian energy. You're tapping into it. You understand it. And a lot of the things that you are saying are ahead of their time. You know, you're now talking Silver Age information.
Yeah.
Right? Right now we're about to head into the Bronze Age, aligning your chakras and, you know, awakening your deeper self, your higher self, being in tune with your higher self.
Yeah.
You are talking advanced language, very advanced language.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a reason why you're doing that as well. Right? And that tells me that your time or your journey is not long going to be here in this Atlantean realm.
No, that's exactly right. Spot on.
Right? Maybe the shift will happen in this lifetime very soon, which I'll talk about. Maybe it will happen when you pass on and incarnate into the Aryan realm, into the next round. Because, again, going back to time, because the ripple starts from the center, right? Time always begins at the center.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So basically, the Aryan realm at the center is 3,000 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
They are 3,000 years ahead of us, consciously, physically, mentally, everything. Because that's where the ripple began. 3,000 years later, the ripple came over to us. 3,000 years later, the ripple goes to the Lemurians. 3,000 years later, the ripple goes to the Hyperboreans. Right? Of this current epoch. So this is where the concept of time travel comes in. People talk about time travel.
Yeah.
If me and you right now stepped into the Aryan realm, the realm at the center, we've gone 3,000 years into the future.
Whoa, look at that.
Right?
Amazing.
Boom.
Fantastic.
We've gone 3,000 years into the future. If we went to the Lemurian realm on the outside, we've gone 3,000 years into the past. We've time traveled backwards.
Yeah.
Right? Because these are different dimensions of time, different dimensions of space.
Yeah.
Right? They've got their own solar and ecosystems and their own ages and their own everything else. But always rippling from the center going outwards.
Yeah, because it's a different Taurus, it's a different field, isn't it? You're entering into
the field of energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Field of energy. Yeah.
So the beings at the center, right? They're coming out of their Bronze Age and going into their Silver Age right now. They're also having a conscious shift. They're shifting out of their bronze into their silver. And they're coming out of their age of Aquarius and heading into the age of Capricorn. Yeah. Because they're one ahead of us on the clock.
Okay.
So we're one behind. We're coming out of iron, going into bronze. We're coming out of Pisces, going into Aquarius.
Brilliant.
So 3,000 years ago, I'm willing to bet the beings at the center were having a very similar conversation like the one we're having now.
Makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Right? They were at the same consciousness that we are at right now.
Yeah.
And that ripple goes backwards as well. So where we were 3,000 years ago is where the beings on the outside are at the moment.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense, because that's how, you see, you're aligning with the way that nature would work, because I see nature as being full cycle, which means that it's a continuous spiral like that. Absolutely. You know, continuous learning, you know, and that's what's happening. So it makes
absolutely.
It's spot on.
So this is what now ties in with what's happening now. You know, I've been talking about Vision 2020, the year 2020.
Yeah.
I've been talking about an event, the Galactic Alignment, which all the ancient cultures talked about. A solar event, galactic alignment, a conscious shift that will happen, a physical one, not just a conscious one, but a physical one
Physical
as
shift.
well.
Yeah.
Something
I
physical
love
is going to happen.
I agree.
Right? And I think we're all feeling this, that we're heading towards something, right?
I agree.
Regardless of what you believe. Christians will tell you, Jesus is just around the corner, right? You know, atheists will say, oh, we're close to a world war, or we're close to a nuclear war or something.
Yeah.
Right? It's in our collective that something is just around the corner.
It's just around the corner.
Right? And it is. It definitely is. And this is the changing of the guard. This is the clock striking 12 as we shift officially into our new paradigm, into our new age, all the rounds.
Yeah.
Basically, the Taurus fields are going to open up. I'm going to give it away. I'll explain, but the Taurus fields will open up, and there's going to be an exchange of conscious and physical energy, technology, information between all the different races. I don't know how it's going to play out. Some are going to go in and up. Some are going to go down and out, but most will remain here in this realm to carry on with this paradigm.
Yeah, that's it. Because that, which is perfect. Because obviously there are people who've got different agendas. There are different agendas happening here, but those different agendas are governed by the universe. Basically, they're governed by the realm itself. So that everyone can do whatever it is they want to do within it, but the realm will do what it's got to do. You know, and that's just it.
Three things. You always see this sign.
Yeah.
Right. This is not evil. This is not satanic. This is not Illuminati.
No.
Right. This is what all consciousness is divided into. Three.
Yeah.
Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva.
The Trinity. Yeah.
Protons, neutrons, electrons.
Yeah.
The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit.
You got it.
I could go on and on and on forever.
Yeah, me too.
Right? In this realm right now, there are three types of souls, Atlantean souls. Three. Know thyself.
Yeah.
You've got the positives, the Brahmas.
Yeah, you got the Brahmas,
Right?
man.
The positive Polarians.
Mm.
Those who are positive in polarity.
Yeah.
Right? That's me and you, brother.
Yeah.
Truth seekers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You've got the negatives.
Mm.
The negative
Yeah.
polarity, Polarians.
Yeah.
Right? These are the baddies, the controllers. The ones who want to go out to Mars and colonize Mars.
You got it.
Right? They're talking about going to colonize Mars.
The red people. Yeah.
Right? Trump, the red people.
Yeah.
Trump and
The red shield.
Space Force and all this stuff.
Red shield. Yeah.
NASA.
Yeah.
Right? These are the negatives, the negative Atlanteans.
The red shield.
On a soul level, the negative Polarians, consciously.
Yeah.
They want to go out. They're not interested in going in. They want to go out to Mars. The majority of people are neutrals, right? They are neither hot nor cold.
Yeah.
They are lukewarm. They're not going in or out. They're here to stay. That's the majority.
They're sitting and staying.
They're sitting and staying. So people like me and you who feel like, do you know what? I feel like I'm done here. This is boring. I figured out this game, right? Some of us don't know yet where we're meant to be going. A lot of people have been saying for a long time, I'm not reincarnating back here. I feel like I'm going to a new earth. I'm going to a new place. I'm going somewhere. This is not, I don't feel at home here anymore.
Yeah, that's it.
Something just tells me I'm meant to be somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? These are the positives, the Brahmas who are ready to move on. These are the people who are ahead of their time. This stuff we're talking about is ahead of its time.
It's ahead of its time.
Person, if you talked about this, they would think you're absolutely batshit crazy.
Oh yeah, they have no idea. And then you just to sync that again. You said the three is very important. We're not going to go into it because we could go about Trinity, etc. But it is the case, you know. Even if you look at the parting of the Red Sea, for example, the sea parts. You know, you've got left and right, and then you've got a middle path. That's a three.
Oh.
So you know, left masculine,
Beautiful.
right feminine. Then you've got the middle path. The middle path is when you merge the two of them together and get the organic singularity. Then you got, I said about the three modes of ignorance. You got the mode of ignorance, the mode of passion, and the mode of goodness. Again, so that's 5,000 years old text telling us that. Martin's telling us with his genius knowledge here about that Trinity. The words he used was, I could go on forever about this Trinity. And then I just put that up together. This is how we know truth.
Absolutely.
All the time.
Absolutely. It's not in one book or in one. It's everywhere.
It's secret
everywhere.
in everything, man. Yeah.
Beautiful, brother. Beautiful. I love that parting of the Red Sea.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Right. It also says in the Bible, right? Those who are lukewarm, I will spit you out.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not a negative thing. It's just saying if you're lukewarm, you're not going anywhere. You will stay where you are. You're on the fence. The fence being here.
Fantastic. Brilliant.
Right. Some will go this way. Some will go that way.
Yeah.
Right. But majority will be on the fence. Majority will be in the middle.
Yeah.
Will walk through the waters, through the parting seas, through this cycle.
Through this cycle.
Now, I want to talk about those of us who are moving on, Fabian, because this is relevant to me and you, I think.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I see that.
This is relevant. I feel this is my path, and this is what I would like. I can't say for sure.
Yeah, it's true.
But
we are ready to move. We are ready to move out of this place now.
But this is why a lot of the information we're sharing, Fabian, is not for everyone.
Nope.
Right? Things like urine therapy. We have to be responsible. If we force everyone to do it, people will get sick and they will die.
They can't do it.
No, if you give a neutral person a positive electron, right? They're going to burn up.
Yeah.
Because they're still neutral. If you give a positive, a neutral charge, they're going to blow up.
Yeah, and the subconscious wouldn't let them do it anyway. So it's only for those who are ready to receive my talk. It's for those that are ready to receive these upgrades, will receive them. You know,
for those with eyes to see and ears to hear.
Exactly. Bang up.
That is it.
As usual.
That is it. So veganism is not for everyone right now. Eventually, yes, but right now it's for certain people. Urine therapy is for certain people. So when I teach my stuff, I'm not teaching to the world. It's not meant for the world yet.
Yeah.
A few hundred years from now, if they can get hold of these videos, they'll look back and they'll be ready for it. Because the consciousness collectively will be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Now, me and you, the things that we're doing now, the reason why we're feeling so compelled to do them, the reason why you're so passionate about veganism and urine therapy and sharing truth.
Age urine,
You know why? You know why?
Go on, man.
You are preparing yourself for a higher state of being.
That's exactly.
You're getting ready for a silver age.
Yeah, we are. We're preparing ourselves for that ascension.
For that ascension, right? Because right now we've been in an iron age frequency, right? We're almost skipping a whole age. We're almost skipping a bronze age.
Yeah.
We've gone from iron to silver. We're trying to time travel. We're in this world, but not of this world.
Exactly. Not of this world.
So we've already begun that process of time traveling, even though we're still here, consciously.
Yeah.
So I can guarantee the beings who live at the center right now haven't eaten meat for thousands of years.
Thousands of years.
Thousands of that's not even a question. For them, they're already talking about breatharianism. They're probably looking down at vegans and going, "You still eat plants?"
Oh yeah, easy. Aged urine is nothing. They probably live on straight aged urine and that's it. And they reach the moon and they fly and everything because of it. You know, it's like that.
Exactly. Right. So we're playing catch up. We're way behind. Even though we're ahead of our time in this realm, when we go there, we are going to be babies, tiny, tiny babies.
Yeah.
Right? But we have to start somewhere. And this is where we're starting now. So it's those small things of starting that process of shifting your physical, your conscious, your mental, etc., etc. And this time is really special because this happens only every 6,000 years. This shift that's about to happen.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
Massive.
And this is the only time that beings are able to ascend and descend between realms physically. Physically, without having to die.
It's massive.
Right? So people have ascended consciously. People have died, no doubt, and then reincarnated there. I think that happens all the time. There might be someone right now who's passed away and they did all they needed to do and they're ready to move on and they're going to reincarnate in that Aryan realm.
Yeah.
Right? That happens all the time. Right? But this time it's special because it's going to be a physical journey, not just a conscious and spiritual one.
Yeah, yeah.
So you are able to take your current avatar. This current avatar that I have is going to physically walk in to this new dimension.
Yeah.
That is 3,000 years ahead. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know. But it's going to happen somehow. And that is why it's special, because we're going to be conscious of that ascension.
Conscious of the ascension, because all what we're doing, those that are of this level of consciousness, that are in that silver age, as we termed it, we're subconsciously, and I've been watching it for a long time now, just doing this, we're subconsciously putting the work in order for this event to take place. And even those, there's many that are doing this, putting the work in. I call them living souls, and because that's how you kind of see it, because of the difference between some of the consciousness of the people that are here. They're like living souls compared to some of the others. So you look at them and you think, they don't know that they're preparing themselves for this event. But they are. And they don't. Absolutely. It's crazy, isn't it? And they don't, with the age during we're doing now, it allows one to merge the physical with the metaphysical. So you can align those two. That's something you couldn't do 10 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, a lot of these physical protocols, like urine therapy, like whatever it is, they are also, what's the word? They're also individual. It's not a collective thing, even within the positives.
Yeah.
Right? So your body, Fabian, this avatar that you currently have, right? This consciousness, your consciousness, has been on a different journey to my avatar and my consciousness.
Yes, from the beginning,
From the beginning. So there are certain things, protocols that you need to do, right, specific to you, more aggressively than maybe me. There are things that I need to do more aggressively than maybe you.
Yeah.
So the recipe, it's not one recipe.
No, there's a variety, because you can do, like, we can look at meditation. Someone might meditate in one way, and then someone might meditate in a totally different way. You know?
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So things like aged urine and stuff. For me, my consciousness tells me it's not something I need to do really. I do it occasionally, but it's not something I'm passionate about.
Yeah, you're doing it.
If I didn't do it, I don't think it would make a difference for whatever reasons.
Yeah, the urine therapy itself wouldn't. The aged urine, it will make a difference. The aged urine is like something totally different, but yeah.
Not necessarily, brother.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No, not necessarily. For me, the big thing for me is I'm trying to go fruitarian.
Yeah.
For me, that's bigger.
Yeah.
For me, that's bigger.
And you see, you just hit the nail on the head. The goal.
For me.
Yeah, for you. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I tell you what, I tell you how we did. I said, there's two different types of meditation, yeah? But the end goal will be the same, yeah? And you go fruitarian, or I do aged urine and you go fruitarian, the end goal will still be the same. One might be cooking the other, one might be cooking the other, but the end goal will still be the same. I'm converging both of those two, and I'm seeing that, like you just said there, when I converge the two of those together, my state of being, I vibrate too high for this place. So when I relate that to the knowledge that you have just given us, it's real. It all merges and it all syncs together. So when I convert the two of them together, I reach a state of being that is I'm vibrating too high for this place. It's too blissful. It's too good for this place. So I got to eat. Yeah, then I would eat a little bit of cooked food to bring me back down into this realm.
Beautiful, brother.
Brother, we just synced it up like you wouldn't believe. I love
beautiful, beautiful. And that's what I was just about to say. You took the words right out of my mouth. That is exactly what I was about to say. That sometimes I find I'm going too far. I'm floating above the clouds.
Yeah.
I'm not on Earth anymore.
Yeah.
That is very dangerous.
Yeah.
So I've got to bring myself back down. So I've got to have a dense cooked meal. I have a curry.
Yeah.
Vegetarian curry.
Same here. I eat that.
Bring myself back down to earth because my energy is too high.
Too high for this place.
And I start feeling depressed. I start feeling low. I start feeling like, oh my God, I don't want to be here. And that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not grounded. So I've got to ground myself.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is beautiful. It shows that we are riding the same wave, brother.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? We're on the same wave. And that wave is, we've now recognized that we've got to stay in tune with the season. Don't go too high. Don't go too low.
Don't go too low.
Ride the wave. Learn to tune into the right frequency.
That's right. Experience it. Know it's there, and then bring it back down. And then you find a balance in the middle. And then that goes back to, again, it's coming out of that dualistic state and finding that inorganic singularity of the heart. And then we reach that internal light of knowing, because we've experienced both light and dark. So we're in the middle ground, the middle narrow path.
Oh man, beautiful. It's gorgeous, gorgeous. Absolutely. Yeah. I've run out of words.
Same here. It's been fantastic. It's been brilliant.
No, you're absolutely right, brother. This is it's really enlightening and encouraging to speak to someone who is pretty much, me.
Like same way, we're a reflection of each other. We'll have to do a part 2 on this, Martin. Definitely. There's so much that we can cover. It's just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. So, I mean, just speaking on some of the work that you've got coming up, have you got anything coming up that's going to be really interesting, or what's happening?
Yeah, definitely. I've just finished recording a presentation with Mike Williams, and we're going to release that, or he's going to release it rather, on Sunday, this coming Sunday, where I'm going to be explaining this in detail. It's about 2.5 hours long.
Brilliant.
So I'm really going to chop it all down, all the different ages, the Yuga ages, the Yuga cycles, the different epochs, the different root races, the Polarians, consciousness, 2020, where we came from, where we're going, decoding all of it as much as I can and sharing it as much as I can, and just giving a bit of clarity as to where all of this is and where it's going. Yeah. So that's coming out on Sunday. And then there'll be other bits and pieces after that I'll also be talking about following that as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And those people out there that like are moving into this silver age, that are on this higher vibrational frequency, that are activating in that way. I'm doing age urine therapy. We're looking at age urine is the bridge to bridging the physical with the metaphysical and aligning and actually reaching higher states of consciousness within this lower physical realm. So people can join the Blood of Christ Age Urine Therapy group to find out more on this information in terms of this inner alchemy of this age urine, because we are turning lead into gold. We do have a substance in us, the divine substance in us, that allows us to activate a higher state of being. When we extract that substance and we put it to one side, it has a exceptionally high negative electric charge. Any electrical entity or electrical thing has a magnetic field around it. So then you're creating an entity yourself, which is an exceptionally powerful tool. Once you re-ingest that, what it does, it has an immense amount of oxygen and alkalinity in it. What that does is it boosts your whole inner state drastically to the point where your physical and mental capabilities are drastically improved. And it also begins to open up your heart space. So the reason, just pointing this out to people, the reason that we call the group the Blood of the Christ is because Christ is a consciousness. It is not a physical man. It is not a book, and it's not connected to any religion. So all of we've got Krishna, Buddha, Christ. All of these are one entity, which is you. It's a story about yourself, telling us that we can reach a higher state of being, and we can become heart activated, and we can think from the heart, people. So we can become much better than what we are. And then by doing that, we can create and manifest the reality that we want to live in and create a heaven on earth scenario, So I just wanted to get that.
Yeah, beautiful, brother. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And you're absolutely right. Like you have been you've chosen to incarnate at this time.
Yeah.
To do what you're doing in order for you to help a certain number of people to ascend through aged urine. Yes. And those people will find you. Yeah. They will pick up your signal. They will find your frequency. They will find you, and you will walk that journey. Yeah. Likewise, I'm doing the same thing.
Just to put the words out of my mouth. We're the same. We're all the same thing, brother. The same.
So that's all it is. It's about finding the people who are tuned into your frequency, the people that are meant to be on the same wavelength as you, need to do the same protocols as you, and they will immediately resonate and be attracted to you and be have the same chemistry as you, and will move forward.
That's right. In order for us to do the work.
And we'll eventually see it all merging, which is what we're now seeing now. We're now seeing a merging. You know, me and you, I'm over here. I'm passionate about trying to become a fruitarian, right? That's my thing. You know, I want to fruitarian. That's, you know, you're talking about age urine.
Fruitarianism.
Eventually we merge, we come together, right? There'll be someone else who'll come from another angle and say, oh, no, I've not been looking at fruitarian or age urine. I've been on the breatharian path.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten for weeks or for months.
We see it happen.
Right? So it's all the merging. Eventually, I think as we get close to the event, those of us who are the positives, those of us who are positively charged, right? Positively charged Polarians, we will eventually come together somehow. It doesn't have to be a physical come together. It might be a conscious or subconscious coming together, and we will collectively ascend somehow. Please don't ask me how yet. I don't know. It will manifest itself when it happens.
It's coming. Fantastic, Martin. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you on here tonight. Hopefully we can get a part 2 and you know, collect some more knowledge for people.
Anytime.
You know?
Anytime.
We keep doing the great work, man, because that time is coming. So, brother, peace and love to you. Yeah? Fantastic. So we do it again soon.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Fabian. This has been so enlightening. Soul food.
Yeah, soul food. Soul brothers and soul food. What, you know, you can't beat the combination. Fantastic.
No, you can't. You can't. I'll be buzzing off this vibration for days. For
Good.
Sure.
Me too. I'm already buzzing up it right now. Fantastic, Martin. See you soon.
Cheers, Fabian. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.